Today we have championship case number 5. We're going to be talking about the defending NASCAR Cup Series champion, Ryan Blaney. We do this for all the playoff drivers. For those of you who don't know, I have a playlist made. You can go check that out with the drivers we've already done. And once again, this is not a prediction video. So it's not a prediction. I'm not picking all 16 guys to win the playoffs, okay? But anyways, we're going to talk about Ryan Blaney, focus on him today, look at his numbers at some of these racetracks, look at his 2024 so far, and so on. Ryan Blaney this season has 2 wins. One came at Iowa Speedway. The other one came at Pocono, the track that he got his first ever win. He has 7 top 5s, 11 top 10s, has led 415 laps this season, along with 2 stage wins. It's been a weird-ish season for Blaney. It's been a weird season for Ford, but Blaney, even when Ford struggled, he was the bright spot. Early in the season when Ford was struggling, Blaney was still getting top 5s every once in a while. A 3rd place finish at Las Vegas comes to mind. And so he, as the defending champion, has really been the front runner for Ford. He's living up to what he's done in the past year. But now, coming into this thing, you know you're in the playoffs. You know you're going to be one of the favorites. How do you defend your title? One of the biggest struggles is going to be that, well, under this elimination format, no one has ever repeated as a champion in consecutive years. We've seen Kyle Busch and Joey Logano win multiple championships in this format, but we've never seen anyone go back-to-back in this format. So that is going to be challenge number 1 for Ryan Blaney. Can he become the first ever back-to-back champion in this format, of course? Now looking at the regular season standings, unfortunately, I think the regular season championship is out of the picture. Mathematically, he's still in it. He's 73 points out, but there's 4 guys ahead of you. I think 4th is a realistic shot. He's only 30 points behind Denny Hamlin. So the first thing I'm going to say, get playoff points. There's no such thing as too many playoff points. So Ryan Blaney, you have some good tracks coming up for you. You've won at Michigan before. You've won at Daytona before. So those are 2 opportunities for you to win, to get some more playoff points, get some stage wins, whatever you got to do. Get yourself some playoff points, improve your regular season standing position, and get as many points as possible, because right now you only got 12, which is appropriate because you're number 12. Anyways, point number 1, get playoff points. Now, looking at the schedule, this first round is Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Bristol. And honestly, I wouldn't say I'm that concerned for Blaney. Ryan Blaney is one of the best super speedway racers in the Cup Series right now. He's done extremely well at Bristol in the past, but his next-gen numbers have fallen off. We'll look at those in a minute. And in fact, looking at his next-gen numbers at Atlanta, since it was turned into a super speedway, he has 4 straight top 10 finishes. He has 4 top 10s since it's been a super speedway. So out of the 5 races, he's led races in all races since 2022. He's finished top 4 in a stage in every single race that has happened since it's been turned into a super speedway, including multiple stage wins. So Ryan Blaney knows how to run up front at this track. He knows how to get stage wins. While he doesn't have a win at the super speedway style track, as I said, he's one of the best super speedway drivers in the Cup Series, and he was literally this close to winning it in the spring, losing in a photo finish. So I expect him to run really well here. Even if he gets in a crash, he'll probably have stage points to back him up. But as I said, Ryan Blaney at these super speedways is something different. He knows how to get it done. He knows how to run up front, and I expect him to do just that. Then we go to Watkins Glen, and, well, my hope is not great, but it's not terrible. He has a top 10 in his most recent Watkins Glen start, but other than that, you can only see 2 other top 10s at Watkins Glen to his name. He's only led 2 laps, and that was back in 2017. He has a 24th back in 2022. So Watkins Glen, the road courses have never been Blaney's strength. I know he won the first ever Bank of a Roval or the Charlotte Roval 400, but once again, the road courses have not necessarily been a major weakness like Joey Logano or sometimes even a Denny Hamlin. But they've not been his strength, as I said. I'd say the short tracks and the super speedway, that is Blaney's top tier. That is his strength. But as for the road course, it's not great. But if you can run top 10, top 5 in that Atlanta race, this can be your mulligan, I think. And I think you should be fine. And as for Bristol, as I said earlier, in the Gen 6 era, Ryan Blaney at Bristol was incredible. There would be laps where he'd lead 100-plus races, where he'd lead 100-plus laps. He'd win stages, run up front, finish in the top 5. Sometimes he'd have bad luck, get wrecked by a lap car, but he'd have race-winning speed. The next-gen era, while once again a small sample size, has been a little bit of a struggle. His best finish is 16th, which was in the spring, and he's only led 23 laps in 3 races. So not the greatest numbers, but as I said, Ryan Blaney's got this place pretty well figured out. I know he doesn't have a win here yet, but with how well he's run in the past, I expect him to get a win at some point. And honestly, I expect him to get a top 10, probably, realistically. Ford's really good at the short tracks. I know Bristol's kind of a weird because it's a short track, but they got the intermediate package. But I expect Blaney to run top 10 here. So I think winning speed at Atlanta, a top 5, top 10 there. Watkins Glen can be your mulligan, so let's say a 19th place finish and a top 10 at Bristol with your bonus points that you have and other people having issues. I think that'll be fine to get you through that first round. Now, as for this second round, we got a little bit of everything in here. We got Kansas, Talladega, and the Roval. Kansas has been a track for Ryan Blaney that he's had a couple really good races there where he's led laps, run up front, but I don't look at Kansas specifically. I know the numbers aren't great. He's only got 1 top 10 in this next-gen era back in the fall of 2022, but he scored stage points in most of the races that we've had in this next-gen era. And also, he's run pretty decent at the 1.5 miles this season, despite Ford or Penske or whoever as a whole struggling. As I said earlier, Las Vegas, he had a top 5. He was leading laps at Texas earlier in the season. So they've had their moments on the intermediate tracks like Texas, like Vegas. I think they can pick it up, and by the fall, they'll find their stride. They'll have more speed at these intermediates, and I think he could be fine. I don't know if they'll be good enough to compete with Larson, Hamlin, Reddick, and all of them, but I think a top 10 is realistic. So let's say he gets a top 10. And then we go to where he has the most wins, Talladega. I know it's a super speedway. It's a wild card. He could wreck out. Anything can happen, but Ryan Blaney has proven time and time again that at these super speedways, more specifically Talladega, he knows how to get it done. He knows how to put himself in position to win the race, whether it's the Gen 6, whether it's Wickerbill, no Wickerbill, next-gen car, 20 cars on the track, 30 cars on the track, 8 cars on the track, however it happens, he knows how to get it done. And I have full confidence in Ryan Blaney surviving this race and being up front competing for the win, just like Atlanta. But unlike Atlanta, Ryan Blaney has the wins at Talladega to back up what I am saying, and I think he will be competing for the win. So with the top 10 at Kansas, with another top 10, top 5 at Talladega, we go to the Charlotte Roval, and it'll be a little bit of a tighter point situation, but if they can get through this round, I think they have a really good chance of making the Final Four, okay? So they just got to survive the Roval. That's what I'm going to describe this round as. This second round is going to be the ultimate survival round for Ryan Blaney. As I said, Kansas, I expect them to be good, but they're not going to be race-winning speed good, but they could be. They could improve a lot at Kansas, but I think it's going to be hard to beat Larson, Hamlin, Reddick, and all of them. Whereas Talladega, he's going to have winning speed. He's going to have a great shot. But then the Roval, as I said, he won the first ever race there. But since then, only 1 top 5. He finished 12th in this race last year, 26th the year before. So the numbers have not been exactly thrilling in this race. But as I said, if he can just survive, if he can just advance to this round of 8, and let's say he does, he's got a great shot to repeat as a champion. Back-to-back top 10s at Las Vegas. As I said, he finished 3rd in the spring, scored stage points in this year's race, and then also last fall's race. We're starting to figure that track out better and better. Despite a 28th place finish in the fall of 2022, he had a wreck in that race. I think a tire went down or something. He led 39 laps in that race. He won a stage. So they have speed at Las Vegas. Team Penske, Joey Logano has won at Las Vegas. Joey Logano is your most recent pole sitter at Las Vegas. So Team Penske has the speed at Las Vegas specifically, whereas they don't have the numbers to back it up at Kansas. They have it to back it up at Las Vegas. And Ryan Blaney, I think he could very well be in contention for the win. Unlike what I said with Kansas, I think he could be up there with Kyle Larson, with Tyler Reddick, with those guys you expect to win at the 1.5 miles. I think Ryan Blaney's got a great shot at winning his way into the championship 4 in all 3 of these races. Now, when we go to Homestead, Ryan Blaney was one of the guys contending for the win in this race last year. He led 53 laps. He won a stage. He finished third in a stage. He finished second in the race to Christopher Bell. Homestead Miami Speedway, prior to that, had not been a good track to Ryan Blaney. I would have said you're crazy. But after what we saw last year, after what we've seen the last 2 years with Team Penske coming alive really late in the season, Ryan Blaney's going to have a great shot to win this race. If they can do what they did last fall, he's going to have a fantastic opportunity to compete with this for this win with Larson, Reddick, Bell, whoever it may be at the front. And as I said, those are two racetracks that I really wouldn't say are Ryan Blaney racetracks, but they performed so well at them recently, you can't count them out. And then we go to a track I would consider a Ryan Blaney racetrack, Martinsville. Remember how he won last year? Yeah. He could very well do that again. Led 145 laps, won a stage, and won the race. His worst finish in the Next Gen era at Martinsville is 7th. That's right, 7th. Every other finish is a top 5. As I said, he's got the win. He's got the laps led. He is very good at Martinsville. Team Penske and Ford are really good at these short, flat tracks. And if he can make it to the Championship 4, I think we could very well see what happened last year. Because Ryan Blaney has 6 straight top 5s at Phoenix. He doesn't have a Phoenix win yet. Remember that. Remember, last year he finished second in that race to Ross Chastain, but he won the championship. And Phoenix has been a great track to Ryan Blaney. I don't know what it is about this track, but for some reason, Ryan Blaney has this place figured out. If he can make it to the Championship 4 like he was last year, he will be the favorite to win the championship. I know I've talked so much about how good Toyota is at Phoenix now. They had that great race in the spring. But if it's Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, or someone like that against Ryan Blaney, it's going to be tough to beat him because Ryan Blaney is so good at Phoenix. As I said, 6 straight top 5s at the track. He's led a bunch of laps. He's finished up front in the stages. He's done everything possible at Phoenix except for winning the race. And I'd say he's due to win a race at Phoenix. So if he makes that Championship 4, you better look out. He could very well be the championship favorite when we get to Phoenix. They're heating up right now. Are they peaking too early? I don't know. It's so hard to tell. And in this format, you never know. But that first round, I honestly feel pretty good about Ryan Blaney advancing. Second round, that is the round of survival. The numbers don't back you up there. But if you can get out of that round, you have 3 racetracks that you have a very good possibility of winning at. And then that final 4 races at a track that you love, a track that you have performed great at, that you will be the favorite at. And Ryan Blaney could very well become our first repeat champion in the elimination format. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Number 5, check. Tomorrow, William Byron will talk about if the 24 can win in 2024. But we talked about the defending champion today. Let me know your thoughts on Ryan Blaney and his chances to repeat as a champion. Looking forward to continuing these. We got a few more left.